Hi there. I'm going to be talking about AASL Standard number 2, literacy and reading. As you can tell, my dog is also super excited about this standard. One reason I think many people go into library sciences is a love of reading, and I am definitely no exception. The four elements that fall under this standard are 2.1 literature, 2.2 reading promotion, 2.3 respect for diversity, and 2.4 literacy strategies. Now, if you look at the left side of the screen, you'll see my school picture. Every year, I dress up as a character or author from a book, and this is one of my favorite ways to promote reading. Whether it's me standing in the line and students asking me why the heck I'm wearing a mustache, or afterwards, kids coming up with ideas for future school pictures, this is something that I always feel excites kids and always brings a lot of laughs. Every time our school board comes in, there's one member who always says, "Ugh, I liked you better with the mustache," because he remembers when I dressed up as Edgar Allan Poe. So it's something that sticks in people's minds. Also, in terms of reading promotion, I put on a Star Books event for our entire school, K through 12, where I wrote a grant and was able to purchase books for every single student in addition to hot chocolate. So every student was able to come down, select a book, and then enjoy a cup of hot chocolate as they read their book. I think it's really important to get students to love reading, and a big part of loving reading is book ownership. So that's something I really work towards, and I'm trying to constantly make sure that kids have books in their hands and in their homes. Now, if you look to the right of that picture, you'll see the student who's standing up and flipping open a sheet of paper. Reading promotion isn't always big events that take a lot of time and a lot of money. This was something very simple that I did that got a lot of interaction. So this is famous first lines. And what it is on the outside of the page, it's the first line of the book, and when you flip it open, it tells you what book it's from. My middle and high school students loved this because they'd read it, see if they could place it. And sometimes they were even able to guess ones that they hadn't read the book of. So again, we're just kind of sparking conversations about reading and conversations about books. When we talk about literature, candidates should obviously have a wide range of knowledge of different types of books, both age levels and formats. I worked in a library where it was a K-12 library, so I definitely have a lot of experience across the gamut, in addition to participating in professional book studies and personal book clubs. If you look in the bottom right hand, you'll see a picture of me holding How I Became a Pirate as I'm dressed as a pirate. One of my favorite things to do to get kids excited about reading is to dress up in costume. It's definitely something they never forget, especially when I become a pirate, because by the end of the day, my voice cracks and I'm no longer able to speak because of how intense my pirate voice is. When we talk about respect for diversity, that's very important. And teaching in North Dakota in the schools that I've taught in, rural schools, I have taught in schools that are primarily Caucasian. I've never taught in a school that's been less than 95% Caucasian. So when I'm looking at developing a collection, I'm thinking of the windows and the mirrors policy. So what it means is if you're reading a book that's a mirror, you see yourself in that character. Those are typically characters who grow up in areas that you grew up in, or look like you, or think like you. Now, when you're looking at a character who's a window, that's like looking into a window for another world, and that's you being able to see into something different than yourself. Now, one area I really focus on growing is the windows, because most of my students have grown up with books and characters who look like them. So they have access to all those materials, and in fact, most book collections in the world support students that are Caucasian. So it's very important that we let them see windows into other cultures, and we make sure that the students who are in like that minority are able to also experience those mirrors. Now, our last strategy here, 2.4 literacy strategy, focuses on instructional things to make sure that students are able to create and take meaning out of text. And what this means to me is that they're able to understand a bigger purpose and a bigger meaning from reading, more than just even for enjoyment. So sometimes that goes to breaking down a book. So, one thing I do with my elementary students is we talk a lot about plot structure and the elements of plot. And we look at books and we kind of figure out the recipe or the formula for them. If you look at the picture underneath Starbucks of the little girl at the table, you'll see that she's writing her final draft of her book. One thing we focused on all year with my kindergarten and first grade students was beginning, middles, and ends. And when students really had that down, we had a lot of fun creating our own stories and drawing pictures to go along with them. The last picture I'm going to talk about, which is kind of going to pop a little bit back for reading promotion, but also for literacy strategies, is the picture of me in a blow up dinosaur costume. A lot of times I think it's easy to be excited and passionate about the things we love. For me, something I've always struggled with has been nonfiction and how to get excited about that. So, one way I got kids excited with me was the idea that nonfiction is dynamite. And as a dinosaur, I taught my entire library lesson and we focused on elements of nonfiction, looking at the Dewey Decimal System, and then we did round it out with dinosaur books because that's definitely an area that was very popular with the students that I had. All in all, though, I do believe that literacy and reading is one of the foundations of being a great librarian. And if you don't have a passion for those two things, you're probably going to struggle and not enjoy your job as much as you possibly could. So I hope that you agree that I have shown that I am able to display some skill in the elements of literacy and reading.